Good day everyone, and welcome to a video summary of the Pardoner's Tale. This is part of the Canterbury Tales, where we look at each of the 24 stories written in the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. So let's start the analysis. In Flanders, there were three young men who loved to amuse themselves by singing, reveling, and drinking. The Pardoner's launches into a long criticism about their sinful lives, citing many biblical examples as support. First, he denounces their gluttony, which he says caused the fall of a man. He next decries their drunkenness, which makes witless and lecherous. He then denounces their gambling. Dice, he says, are the mothers of lies. The Pardoner criticizes the swearing of false oaths, saying that cursing and perjury are rich. Finally, after his long tirade, the Pardoner returns to the three young rioters who are drinking at a tavern when they hear the bell signaling the sound of a passing coffin. A servant tells them that the dead man was a friend of the revelers who had been stabbed in the night by a thief called Death. The revelers declare that they will seek and slay this false traitor Death. They pledge to be true to each other as brother in this quest. The revelers met an old man in rags who says that he must wander the earth restlessly because Death will not take his life. He makes a move to leave, but the rioters demands that he tell them where they can find Death. The old man says that he has just left Death a moment ago, sitting under an oak tree. The youths run down the crooked path to the tree, where they can find not Death but 8 bushels of gold. The worst of the rioters speaks first, saying that this is their lucky day. But if they take the treasure down to the town by daylight, they will be accused as thieves, and therefore they must wait for nightfall to move the gold. He proposes that they draw straws, and whichever one gets the short straw must go to town to get food and drink so they can wait out the day. The youngest rioters draw the short straw and leaves. While he is away, the other 2 rioters plot to kill the third when he returns so that the 2 of them will each get a bigger share of the treasure. Meanwhile, the youngest decides to poison the other 2 revelers so that he can keep all the money for himself. He goes to an apothecary, buys the strongest poison available, and pours it into the 2 bottles, keeping a third clean for himself. When the youngest revealer returns, the 2 others slay him. Then, celebrating, they drink the poisoned wine. Thus, all 3 of the revealers die. Everyone must therefore beware sins, says the Pardoner, especially greed, which is the root of evils. Although the Pardoner himself hardly leads a spotless life, he bashes the protagonist of his tale of their his tale of their sinful ways, spelling out all the various reasons why gluttony, drunkenness, gambling, and cursing are so terrible. He himself is hypocrite, but he uses his tale as a moral example. The revealers believe that they can slay Death himself demonstrates their extreme hubris. Rather than mourning their friend, they rashly seek their own glory. Although they here pledge that they will be brother in their quest. As the story progresses, it doesn't take much of dissolve their own bond. Rioters was a term for rambunctious, young men. And so all of the writer meet their demise due to their gluttonous voracious ways, giving the pardoner the chance to remind the listeners, or we should say a reader, and the reader yet again that greed is the root of all evils. And at the end of the pardoner's tale, the pardoner practices the exact opposite of what he preaches. Although he's just argued that greed is the root of all evils and that lying is terrible, he himself attempts to swindle the company, and the knight must restore the social order. The pardoner is how do you call that one? Is a complicated character, the moral spouting and yet gleefully immoral man of the church. And as such, it speaks volumes about the church that such a man would be associated with it. So that's all of the short analysis of the pardoner's tale.